Okay, we're going to get started today. Thank you everyone for being here. My name is Daniel Alarcon. I'm the technical support manager here at FileCloud. And today we're going to learn what's new on FileCloud 21.1, the release that came out a couple of weeks ago. If you have any questions, please ask them on the Q&A section, and we'll be responding to them at the end of the presentation. So what's new in general for FileCloud 21.1? There are a few key elements that I want to inform today. First of all, there is a FileCloud server performance enhancement. And we also have some keyboard accessibility, which will make FileCloud compliant with BPAT guidelines 2.1. We also have a role-based admin user. That is a new way of giving permissions and access to your administrators or your promoted administrators. We also have a new interface for FileCloud Drive. And also there is support for Big Sur running on Apple Silicon. And that is only available on the latest versions. And you need to make a few special changes on Mac to be able to run it. We also have some ServerLink enhancements. ServerLink enhancements. We have ServerLink Linux support now. And there's also Sync 2.0 UI that works on Linux now. For performance, in general, there has been many rework items on the server side that it's making the server run 66% faster in average. You will see once you install it, and if you're running FileCloud in your server or on premise, you will notice that there is a highly noticeable boost on the performance, on how things are being processed on the queues on the background, and how things are, also how much memory, for example, the Apache service is running. So it's really important for you to upgrade. If you've been running FileCloud 20.3 or 20.2, we really recommend that you upgrade as soon as possible to get this performance. Besides the performance, there's also the components that have been upgraded on FileCloud. That is Apache, PHP, Mongo, Solr, and OpenSSL. All of these components, besides just making the upgrade to the latest versions available, it's also important to upgrade because they are patching vulnerabilities that are available on these external applications. So please consider that when upgrading. Now, there's a FileCloud is now compliant with BPAT guideline 2.1, and that doesn't just include the keyboard shortcuts. That also includes that your FileCloud user interface, the new FileCloud user interface, is going to be compatible or compliant with visually impaired or with anyone with some impaired capability. It could be visual impairability, or it could be hearing, anything like that. Now the FileCloud user interface is going to be compliant with that. That means, for example, if you are running any type of screen reader software, the user interface will now be responsive to that. So just to give you a quick look on how this works. On your user interface, let's log in. Okay, so now if you're not sure what is the keyboard accessibility, you can always get it to show using Alt F1. And you also have it available here with the show shortcuts. And as you can see, you can do most operations like upload a file, copy, cut, download files, and multiple select. All those options are available. And if you have any questions on how these shortcuts work, we also have a guide to the keyboard shortcuts. As you can see here, we have the shortcut for Windows and Linux, and we have the shortcut for macOS. So if you have any questions, please reach out to the help page with that. Okay. We also have a role-based admin users. That means we have completely reworked how we manage the promoted admins. Instead of just giving access, which was the way that we did it before 21.1, giving access to a specific section of the admin user interface to your promoted admin users, now you can create roles, and more importantly, you can create more specific permissions to the sections. That means you can allow a user to read, create, update, or delete on, for example, on the audit records, on customization, on device management, encryption, all these sections that are available on the administrator user interface. You can now create a more specific permission set for your promoted admin users. Let me show you here what I mean. Once you're here on your admin UI, let's just log in again. You'll see that there is a new highlight on the admin section. That means if I go here, you will notice that this is completely a new user interface. You can create roles, you can check the user permissions, or you can add admins. To show you what I mean, I'm going to create a new role, and we're going to call it access metadata. Okay, so in your screen, you're going to be able to scroll and see what is the sections that you want to give access. As you can see, all the menu entries from the left menu are going to show up in here. And you can see that I can, for example, for metadata, I can actually give read, just read access, or let the user create, or let the user update, and even allow him to delete anything from the metadata set. So this is how I can create a role. Once I have selected what I want this role to do, I just can click on create role. Now the role is available and it's enabled by default, but no one is yet added in here. So who can be added? In your users, as the same as we did before, you will see that the admin users have this little crown icon on the left menu. If I click on edit a user and I scroll all the way down, you will see that the admin user checkbox is checked for this user. So if I go to the admin section and I edit the newly created role, and I go to the users, I'm going to get access here to the users that have been promoted to admin users. As you can see, it's not going to show me all the full accounts, only the ones that have been promoted as admin users. So I can just move them here, and once they log into the admin UI, they will be granted with the access to the metadata that I have done. Other thing that's new on the new role-based admin is that you can now also do groups. So in case you have a specific groups for your users, let's say you have some management group and you want everyone on that management group to have access to a specific role, you can add them from here, provided that the users are promoted as admin users. They could be part of a group, but only the users that are part of that group that are promoted admins are going to get access once you move them from here. Okay. So this is the new role, and you can see we can also check the user permissions in case we are not sure and we have quite a bunch of roles that are created. We can actually look, okay, what does this user has permissions to? So as you can see, I have this permission also part of a group that it's a role that is for audit record access. We can also have him for customization, and we have him for metadata and network shares. So you can see here, in case you're not sure to what is this user part of, you can always check the effective permissions and you will get that option. And besides that, besides having a user added here as an admin, I can also add an admin from here. So you can see that this new user interface is very versatile. So it will make things much more easier for you to administrate your promoted admin users. Okay. We have a new FileCloud Drive user interface. This Drive user interface is much more simple. It has a new login wizard. And there's one more thing here really important. In case I'm using the Drive application, you will see here, you can see here the new user interface. But there's also some persistent notifications while operations are happening. So let's say I want to change a file, changes 1 to 3, and I save this file. You will see here that there is a new notification on the bottom right corner, and it's going to show there until an operation is finished. You can see here now on the activity section, what just happened or what has been happening on the Drive application. So you don't have to be unsure if your file has been updated, uploaded, or what has happened to your file. You have this new user interface, which makes things much more intuitive. And in case you're uploading or downloading larger files, you will see that this live activity section is going to show that information for you. So now you have the live activity. We can open the folder directly from here. We can simply search. This is going to do the advanced search that we have on the user interface. So as you can see here, we can search all the content or for metadata specifically in here on the Drive interface. And the settings is no longer a pop-up window. It's already part here of the same interface. So it's much more intuitive, much more user-friendly, and also much more useful, right? This doesn't have to be running. Normally, this is just running on the background and thing happens in the background for you. But we also have those special notifications that will show up for you. That is more useful, of course, when you're uploading a larger file and you want to be sure when that file is uploaded, you will see that persistent notification on the bottom right corner. Okay, so besides Drive, we also have ServerLink Enhancements. The ServerLink user interface has been reworked the last time, and there's much more changes here happening on ServerLink. In case you have multiple servers running FileCloud and you are synchronizing between them, you can now have this new user interface and this new performance that is going to make your synchronization across FileCloud servers much more faster and much more error-free. Before these new changes, your FileCloud servers, when you were synchronizing them with ServerLink, it could go into a out of sync state, and it will be very hard for it to recover when there are a large amount of files. Now that ServerLink is much faster, your FileCloud servers are going to stay in sync much better than they did before. And we also have more alerts in case, for example, one of the servers becomes unavailable. Let's say you're not actually using your FileCloud servers live. You perhaps have a standby node, a standby FileCloud installation on a different location, and you want to make sure that it's always up to sync. You will be notified via email in case you're not. So there's a new alert system also in place that is going to make ServerLink usage much more simple for the administrator. In case you're not sure of what ServerLink does, or if you think it's going to be something useful for your company or for your use case, you can always reach us to the support team or to the CSM team, and we'll be happy to give you a demonstration of how ServerLink works. Okay, so that's most of the changes. Besides that, I cannot show it here, but you now can run ServerSync and the regular sync application on Linux. That it's a new update that is become available since 21.1. You can the ServerSync user interface is still not yet available on Linux, but you can make it on manual configuration files. And the sync application does show the new user interface on desktop Linux installations. So if you have any questions, you can always check all the changes in our wiki. You can always reach that pretty easily. I'm going to go there directly. You can always reach to our documentation. And you will see here all the other changes that have been made on FileCloud, not just the new enhancements, but also any bug fix or any minor change. You will see it here. What has been changed, what is the component that was affected, and what is the new feature. So I advise you to look into that. And in case you want to upgrade, you can always use the upgrade tool on Windows or the manual upgrade option in Linux as well. If you are running FileCloud Online, your system is running already FileCloud 21.1. I don't know if you have any questions. Okay, so we have, will there be a periodic update of software components to address the component bug list, web server, etc.? Yes, there is, even though we released FileCloud 21.1, you can see here that there's already a patch 21.1.1 available. All these upgrades are notified on the user interface. So in case you need to do that, you can do it from the user interface. I don't know if that's the exact question you're asking, but the other thing, for example, important here is that besides the server being upgraded to 21.1, all the client applications, Sync, Drive, and the mobile applications are now available on 21.1. They will be prompted to update on the user side. So if you need the users to already run 21.1, it's going to be notified for them on the user interface. Okay, so the next question is compatible up-to-date software operation updates. Okay, so for operating system updates, FileCloud runs on Windows Server 2012 R2 up. That means anything that is above 2012 R2, it's going to be available. Please note that 2012 server, it's going to stay available for the next year or two because Windows will stop providing any software updates for it in 2023. So keep in mind that we recommend you upgrade your Windows server to at least Windows Server 2016 or 2019. For Ubuntu, if you are running 16.04, we recommend you to upgrade to at least 18.04. The reason for that is that the latest changes on 16.04 that Ubuntu, for example, has made recently, actually affect FileCloud Server 21.1. So it's not recommended you upgrade to that. We recommend you to first upgrade your operating system and then upgrade FileCloud, or even better, you can create a new instance of a Ubuntu machine to 18.04 or 20.04 and then migrate your FileCloud installation to it. Okay, and the last question I have here is, can an admin user be in multiple groups with multiple roles? Yes, and as you saw when I was actually checking the roles for a user, that user was part of different roles, and it can also be part of different groups. When I add him, it's going to sum up all the permissions, and that's what is going to give you access to the promoted admin. Okay. Any further questions? Okay. Thank you very much for attending our webinar today. If you have any further questions of FileCloud 21.1, the upgrade process, or anything else, please don't hesitate to reach out to support. Thank you very much for your presence today.